Hello, Dr. Tawana Worlds by birth, also known as a disruptor. Did you know that millions who grew up in poverty also die in poverty? Have you ever heard the saying, what good can come out of the hood? Well, I'm here to disrupt for just a minute. Yes, I was that little girl that grew up in the hood, grew up in the ghetto, single mother, absent father, eating out of the trash can just to survive. But I was also that girl that determined way back then that I was not going to become a product of my past. And now I help others do the same thing. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. I help men and women from similar backgrounds find value in their own vault and create wealth from within. Hey, what's up, family? Pardon me, I did not know that was that loud. I'm not going to be here before you guys long at all. I'm not even going to ask y'all to share this. Whoever's on here is just on here. Whoever cares enough to listen, I'm talking to you. Most of the time when I come by here, you know, I'm mostly like giddy, you know. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to build. I'm ready to execute. But there is just some days where I'm bleeding, y'all. And I'll tell y'all about it, but y'all don't see it. Y'all don't get to see it. And today is my son's birthday. And it never fails if it's on any of my children's birthday, my older children, my younger children. It never fails. I'll be bleeding, y'all. I'll be bleeding. I don't even know how I'm still standing, y'all, just to be honest with y'all. Most of the time I don't come and be vulnerable with you guys. Like I said, I'm always strong, courageous, ready to build, ready to execute. But when I tell y'all I'm bleeding, I'm really bleeding. I'm devastated just knowing that I will not see my kids no more in this lifetime. I don't see how anybody can walk in pain like this. I don't see how anybody humanly possible can walk in this amount of pain. And I do absolutely know people who have lost their whole family, you know, survived a car accident. They were the main survivor and everybody else is gone. And so I always keep that at the forefront, that what I'm dealing with could be worse. But I am just bleeding, y'all. I really am bleeding. And today I just felt like a bad mother for the simple fact that it's my young son's birthday. This is supposed to be a day that is exciting for him. It's another year he's gone around the sun. And I almost got through the entire day before it just sat on me. Like, this is my reality and I don't understand. I haven't even asked why because I don't want to know. Even if I was given an answer as to why, it would it just wouldn't be good enough. And I don't understand. I really don't understand. I really had a really, really hard childhood. And I thought that was something. I mean, a really hard childhood. I'm grateful for it, but it was hard. And I just knew when I got grown and able to take care of myself that I would change my situation, that I would be a really good mother to my children. I prayed for my children, y'all. My story is a lot different than other people's story because as a young girl, I prayed for kids. I wanted to know what love felt like. So at the age of 12, I prayed for children. And God answered my prayer. I was 15 when I found out I was first pregnant. And I was not willfully pregnant. That was me having to go from house to house and be violated. But when I found out that I was pregnant, I had to remember asking God for these children 3 years prior to this. And I just knew it was the answer from the Lord, regardless of the situation. It's real and it's raw and it's uncut tonight, y'all. Because most people won't show you this side. They wear masks, they get on here and they be, you know, putting on the front. Everybody is going through something, no matter if you're not going through what I'm going through. And it's okay to have these type of days, these type of moments. I prayed for my kids. I had every legal right to not have my children, especially being that 5 of them are a product of grape. I mean, since I can remember, I've been fighting for my life since I can remember. But when I had my children, It was just like God heard me. I always wanted a family. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter how he gave them to me. I love my children unconditionally. And because I had two boys at the time before I had Redeem, like those were the first real men, even though they were babies. Those were the first real men who like captivated my heart. I mean, there was nothing I would not do for my sons except hide the truth or something. They did something crazy. I can't roll with you if you go do something crazy, and they knew that. But you ain't never got to worry about no woman having your back because I got your back. I got your front. And they knew that. And they felt the same way about their mom. I mean, the whole world was robbed of their presence. I raised them to be fine young men I can be proud of. And it wasn't easy because before I was a married mother, I was a single mother. But I did my best. I raised them up in the Lord. He was their father. He instructed me on how to teach them, dress them, deal with them. And I just cannot believe they're gone. Not one. Not one. But two. Almost 6 years apart. And I'm like, God, what did I? You can't even make sense out of it. Nevertheless, I love God. I don't question him. His ways are higher than our ways. I will never turn my back on him. I will never give up on him. No matter how much it hurts. No matter how much it don't make sense. I will never turn my back on God. I'm more hurt that something that God gave me, the enemy took. I don't blame God one inkling of a percent. I don't understand, but I don't question. I just want to know, how am I going to make it? How do you make it through this, God? How do you make it? How do you make it through this? That's all I want to know. Them children came out of my womb, man. It's not something you can turn on and turn off. These children are flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. I have good days, I have good weeks, and then I just have days like this. It's like I done took 100 steps forward and I'm feeling good. And then you just back to square one. And the trauma from seeing something like that. I don't think the mother should ever see anything like that. That's the worst thing you can see. It's the worst. It's the worst thing you can see. Because you can't unsee, which is because you can't unsee what you saw. And that's it. They're gone. And that's your last memory. And you just feel your whole soul. You just feel your whole soul. And they say when the love is deep, the pain is deeper. And I believe that 1000%. I'm not going to say that don't no mama love their child, because every mother loves their child. You have to endure the development of that child, bringing that child into the world safely, nurturing that child. But when certain mothers have to endure certain things to have their child, to protect their child, to raise their child, the pain is deep because the love is deeper. When you have a child and you don't have the other parent to love the child, you pour extra. You give your all because there's something missing. And then to just have that gone. one thing that I love the most about my sons is they were very responsible mama's boys. I believe all male childs are mama's boys. The girls give them their dad, but the boys, it's just me and my mama. Especially from what I'm seeing, because it's always been me and my children. I didn't have no other family. When you see me, you see my kids. When we didn't have vehicles, we walked everywhere together. We were the laughing stock of the city. Tawana and all her kids. I mean, these kids were with me through everything. Through homelessness, through abuse. My kids were my best friends. I don't have best friends like my kids. I have people that I've known for a very long time. But my kids were my best friends. I didn't have a dad to call. And I had a mama, but I didn't call my mama. It was me and my kids that got through some very tough times. They knew I don't care how tough it get, baby. I'm not going to never leave y'all. I made that vow to God. If you give me kids, I would never, ever leave them. And I would always protect them. And I would always love them. That was my vow to him at 12 years old. I'm so desperate to know what love feels like. Send me a child. And if you give me a child, I'll change everything about my life because I was a homeless teenager. I slept in hospitals when I didn't have nowhere to sleep. I ate out of trash cans when I didn't have nowhere to eat and nothing to eat. And I just wanted to know what love felt like. And I vowed to God, if you give me children, I don't even know 12-year-olds who pray stuff like that. I don't even know where it came from, but it came from somewhere. Came out of the deepest depths of my soul. At 12 years old, I was tired of being violated, touched inappropriately, bouncing from house to house, sleeping on people's porches, putting myself in dangerous situations. I was just tired of that. I was tired of being looked at as an object. And I remember when I got pregnant with my son, I had already had 4 daughters, and I said, no, enough is enough. And then his father was somebody that I hustled in the streets with, who was a manipulator and a violator. And I struggled with if I was going to keep that baby. I struggled. Everything about him, I'm like, I don't even know who he is. I don't know who his family is. Like, I'm tired of this happening to me. And I am not going to give birth to another child. Yes, I'm in a room, Pop. I'm not going to do this. And for 6 months, I battled with if I should keep that baby or not. Because in California, you can go all the way up to 20 weeks, 20 to 24 weeks at that time. And every single day. I knew nothing about this man. I knew nothing about this man. And I heard God every single day that I had those thoughts. Don't kill him. It's going to be your son. I had 4 daughters. I'm like, look, I don't care if it's going to be a daughter or a girl. Like, I'm not willing. It was very tumultuous. I was violently sick. I'm like, I'm going to take care of another kid. I'm out here slanging trade in the streets, hustling to take care of these ones. I'm taking risk. And every day, this was before I even had a relationship with God. He would have me to play Yolanda Adams, open up my heart to you every single day, up until I was way too far to even have an abortion. And then once I got to that stage, I kept hearing the Lord say, this is going to be your son. I'm like, you don't even have a dad. What am I going to name him? He gave me his name. He provided for this boy like never before. And this was all he wanted to do was be under his mama. And I was all right with that. I mean, taught me a love because I saw God in my children, God's love in my children. And I have to put those boys in the dirt. 15 years of age, 21 years of age. The second one almost, I'm not even going to say almost, me and him, not supposed to be here. I had an abruption of the placenta and hemorrhage to death. But God saved us both for whatever reason. And then 15 years later took him. And he was really, really my best friend. We went through something very traumatic together. He was the baby boy. Went through a lot of abuse while I was pregnant with him. He was the only one that I willingly hooked up with his father and conceived a child. And then we had that experience together. He was premature, stayed in the NICU. I had to give him a lot of extra love and a lot of extra care. And neither one of them is here, y'all. Neither one of them. I don't think it's enough words to tell you how I suffered to take care of my kids and make sure they were straight. All my clubbing, all my hustling, all of my kicking it, all my hanging out with people, all of that went out the door. When that experience happened, I gave my life to God. When I lost all the blood in my body and died, and was in a very, 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 very dark place. Can't describe the darkness, but I just knew. I knew I had died because I remember dying, taking my last breath. But this dark place, dark and quiet. So quiet that you know what's going on in your thoughts. It's weird. But I just knew that I was going to hell. I was waiting for him any moment to come and take me. Because I was living reckless. way reckless. But God saw fit to save me and this baby life. And then 15 years later, this baby, I'm so traumatized by it, y'all. I wake up, I take this baby to school. I drop him off. He had a habit every single day. Mama, I love you. He would call me in the middle of his classes. What you doing, Mama? I'd be like, boy, you at school. You better get off the phone. No, my teacher gave me like 3 minutes. I'm just checking on you, see what you doing. I'm not doing anything, boy. I'll see you in a couple of hours. And then he texts me and say, hey, I'm out of school. And where he was enrolled at school was under our old address. We had just moved to a new place, like maybe a mile and a half down from where we were living. So he'd catch the school bus back to where we would live, where we moved from, and then I would come and pick him up from right there at his buddy house. He texted me and said, hey, I'm going to be right there with Nate playing basketball. In Alabama, don't have like parks with basketball courts. They have to go buy the basketball courts from Walmart, put them in the street and play street hoop. So I'm riding around looking for him. He's not where he say he is. And that's never something he ever does. I mean, when I tell you this kid, it was, if I'm at the ladies' room, he's at the door. What you doing, Mama? I'm like, bro, I'm in the room with the door locked. I'd give anything to say that to him. I'd give anything. I used to think it was getting on my nerves, but I'd give anything to hear him call my name one more time. I'd give anything for him to get on my nerves one more time. I really, really would. I really would. So I'm calling him like, okay, bro. You know not to tell me you somewhere, you not. No answer. I'm just riding around. Riding around. And when he texted me and he told me that he was going with his buddy Nate, he also asked me like, yo, was we going to Walmart so I can get my snacks for school? And I said, yes, we are. So I really wasn't understanding. This boy, no, he finna go get them golden Oreos. Where could he be at? And I'm riding around. I'm like, this boy know not to play with me. Anything like that happen, I've always been one of them mamas. I pick my kids up from school. I don't care if you're in high school. You ain't walking home, beloved. I'm going to know where mine is at 24/7 because that was my vow to God. I'm going to protect them. Even if it's overprotection. Ain't nobody snatching these ones up. Ain't nobody doing none of that. When they get out of school, I'm going to be there. And when they need to get to school, I'm going to be there. So for me not to see him, I'm like, this is really strange. And then he not answering his phone. I'm still not panicking. I'm thinking maybe he's shooting hoop around another corner or something like that. They didn't went somewhere else, which they did ended up going somewhere else. There was a hotel down the road that actually had a basketball court, like a luxury hotel that offered, its guest a basketball court. So I didn't know about the basketball court. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to Walmart and get the stuff that he wants, the stuff that I'm making for dinner. And then I'll come back to Nate house. They'll be back by this time. I go into Walmart and then all of a sudden I just felt this urge to start talking about him. I told my husband, I said, I'm really proud of him. He's been doing really great. Getting himself together in school so he can play sports. He doesn't even feel like he need that medication anymore. And he hasn't taken it in a few days. I just felt this heavy urge to begin to speak about him and praise his accomplishments. Not knowing that my baby was on the very next street, dying. On the very next street, dying. And I said, God, if I would have rode around that street, just one street over, literally, and saw my baby on the ground, y'all would still be looking at a viral video to this day. He would have got up off that pavement. Do you hear me? He would have got up. I mean, I would have had Hercules' faith. I would have had Hulk Hogan's faith. That boy would have got up. When I left out of Walmart, fire department chief was driving towards me trying to flag me down. I'm like, do the fire chief outrun you over out here in Alabama? What the heck is going on? Why is this man driving directly at me full speed? And he blocked me off. And my son's friend hopped out of the passenger seat. He said, yeah, Kim Ryan fainted. And I said, what? He said, yeah, he fainted on the basketball court. And I'm like, okay, bye. I don't want to hear nothing else. What you mean fainted? My son's never fainted. And I'm thinking, did they give my son something or what? What you talking about fainted? It was just a shock to me. And as I got ready to get in the car and drive off, I don't even know where I was going. I was just going to the nearest hospital that I knew. As I got in the car because when they blocked me off and he got out of the car, I got out of the car like, what the heck? And so I ran back to my car, got in my car when he told me my baby fainted. And then when I got ready to close the door and drive off, he said they couldn't wake him up. I can't even describe to y'all the feeling. We are human beings having a spiritual experience we are spiritual beings, having a human experience because I can't even describe to you what I felt in my spirit, but I just knew something was wrong and my body did too. It wouldn't even move. it was stuck. It was just like a heavy weight was on my body. I called the hospital before I got there and just confirmed, do y'all got a 15-year-old African American male child? No, we don't. And there was another hospital all the way across town. And I'm like, every second counts because they said he fainted and I need to find out where he's at. So my spirit said, no, go to that one. He is there. Don't drive across the town. He's at this one. I'm shaking just talking about it, y'all. But really what I'm trying to do is wear myself out. So when I just get off this live, I could just go to sleep, you know? I get to the hospital, I see the paramedics wheeling their gurney from inside of the hospital back to their truck. And I just screamed across the parking lot, hey, did you bring a 15-year-old black boy here? And the man said, yeah. And I almost fell out. I just knew something ain't right. I said, is he okay, sir? The man said, you gotta go in there and check. I can't give you no information. And that was because he was already dead. He died on the basketball court. It was such a heavy weight, I couldn't even get out and go see. I just knew it was like something arrested me. And I kept telling my husband, if something happened to my son, I'm about to go off. If something happened to my baby, if they tell me anything bad about my baby, I just kept saying that. I said, honey, you gotta go in because I can't even lift my legs. It's like you gotta pick up your legs and move them because they were so weighted down. And then he comes out and he's looking confused. And he's like, yeah, they want you because that's not his real biological father. So they want me to get my consent that my husband can come in and talk to them or whatever the heck. So I go in there and I'm like, look, I don't want to hear anything about anything. I just want to see my son. She's like, ma'am, the doctor want to speak to you first. I don't care nothing about your doctors. I want to see my son. She had this weird, funny look. It was like I almost wanted to attack her because I knew that she knew. So she did a fast one on me. She said, they're going to take you to see your son, but the doctor want to talk to you about, what's going on first. So when she told me that I can go see my son, I'm thinking, okay, he ain't dead. Good. Now, whatever the doctor want to tell me, I'm prepared for it. But as long as she tell me that I can see my son, he ain't dead. They take me in a room, all these dang on people come in there. It took them a long time to come in there for one. All these dang on people come in there, and I already knew right then and there what they was finna tell me. And she didn't lie. She said, yeah, you can see your son, but when I seen my son, he was gone. And when I walked up on him, and he was just in shock. That's how he died, in shock. His eyes was wide open. He looked terrified, y'all. I can't just unget that out of my mind. I cannot unget that. I brought them into this world and they looked it away. But when they leave this earth and they don't look, when you don't see life in them, that is a hell of a traumatic memory image that is forever sketched into your mind. You never forget that. Most people not gonna be transparent in their grief. You know, I don't ever come by here looking for no sympathy because the sympathy not gonna help me. I don't come by here looking for, no condolences because those don't help either. Nothing helps this pain. Nothing. Nothing helps this pain. Nothing helps it except just going through it, accepting it, making peace with your pain, making peace with your cross. I mean, just imagine you got to carry a cross full of thorns and they stabbing you and poking you and you in so much pain and this thing is so heavy. And you just got to keep on carrying it. You're going to fall down, but you got to keep on carrying it. You got to get back up when you don't feel like getting up, and you got to pick this cross up. It's full of thorns. Every time it falls on you, it crushes you. But you got to get back up. Crushed and all. You got to keep it moving. I just thought I'd come by here tonight. I'm sorry if it feels like rambling to somebody, but y'all always see the strong Dr. T. Tonight y'all see the bleeding Dr. T. Because it's one thing to have to bleed, but it's a different thing when you bleeding and leading. People think you got it all together. Baby, you don't even know. It's invisible. It's the invisible glue of God that has kept me together. I long for my children. I long to see them. I long to smell them. Imagine being so desperate that you just want to smell. I want one more smell. What they smell like, what they feel like. Because what they felt like when I last felt them, they felt cold and lifeless. So on top of what I saw visually, what I felt physically really sealed the deal. And then all the warfare that comes with that. Imagine your whole entire family is just broken up. You got other kids, grandkids, grandparents, uncles. The whole family just devastated. They like, we just did this unexpectedly. And then after that, I was not strong enough to bury my own children. I mean, they had to get me off the ground when it came to try to go talk about picking out a coffin. What? I will not see my kids in nothing like that. So my husband had to. My great husband. I thank God for my husband, man. I really thank God for my husband. I thank God for God, but I thank God for sending me a godly husband who will love me unconditionally and not leave in those type of times. Not that I know anybody who would, but it does happen. Not be overwhelmed and say, you know what, this is too much for me. That man put that funeral together. And not only did he do that, he took the younger kids and he was like, look, I'm going to let mama get herself together to the best of her ability because I know she's bleeding. To the point where I had to like put my grief on hold because it was killing my husband. I had to learn how to control my grief because it was overtaking him. He lost like 100 pounds in a matter of like two months. And then you're in so much pain. You're a business owner, you're a coach, you're a consultant, you have to lead people. And when they money involved, they not gonna never understand because they got their kids, you know. They're not gonna never understand. Well, I understand you lost your child. They might give you a week or two, maybe 30 days worth of grace, but it's like, no, this is business. And then told me that business must continue forward. And that's painful because now I'm in a position where I gotta help others and I barely can help myself. Every time I get on to help someone, the enemy taunts me and say, you couldn't help your children. I felt so horrible. But I'm like, in this moment, if I don't show up, they can sue me. This is business. This is not personal. Then I start having these systems hold up my money, platforms start silencing me, shutting me down the moment that I start telling them, yeah, Big Pharma did this. The open borders did this. It's like the pits of hell was released. And I just went from one battle to the next. I had to cry and fight at the same time because it felt like the enemy was trying to take me out, y'all. Nobody knows these things because I've never said this much to anybody. I had to endure hardship like a good soldier by myself. One of my best friends that I consider to be my best friend of 31 years. When my son died after the funeral, she never ever picked up the phone. Hey sis, how you doing? I was just flabbergasted. Like, why I ain't heard from this girl? Like, this girl know I am bleeding. Had others who I've always been there for these people. I'm just that type of friend. We can have argument with each other, an attitude with each other. You need me, I'm there. And now when I'm in my darkest hour and I don't feel like I can even inhale and exhale, I have nobody. When I say nobody, I mean nobody. I can't put it on my husband. He's getting sick. I mean, it's just me and God. And I'm sure you can imagine how much it affected my business because I didn't want to get up there and talk to people bleeding like that. I literally wanted to go lay down and just lay down and just stay down for real, for real. Because I'm like, God, one was enough, and two was too many to be taken up out of here by the same demonic system. They told me my son needed to take medication so he can get an education. When I said no, they sent CPS after me, threatened me. I give it to him. And when I defended him and said, no, we don't do this over here, and they threatened to remove my kids from my home and criminalize me, I said yes, only for school, not for weekends, not for anything else. In this thing, my baby had 4 heart attacks, y'all. 4 heart attacks on this stuff. His autopsy revealed that he was having heart attacks like every 2 years. And that's why when he was out there playing basketball and running down the court, he had the final heart attack. And then my oldest one has a car accident. He's hanging out with his girlfriend and her friends. Car flips off the freeway. The glass from the rear view. I mean the back, the rear, whatever you call that, not the windshield, but the back shield, broke and split his back in the middle. And I told y'all my kids are mama's boys. He's all the way in California. I'm all the way in Texas. And he like, Mama, I had to tell Jesus thank you. He was like, but I'm hurt, I'm injured. He recorded a video of himself taking his pants off. See, his kneecap was busted. Back of his From his shoulder to the middle of his back was just split down the middle to the white meat. I'm like, you need to go to the hospital. He was like, Mama, if they need to stitch me up or keep me in surgery or something, like, I want you there. Let me come out to Texas. Get me a ticket and let me come out to Texas and I'll go to the hospital there. That way, if I need to be admitted, at least my mama will be there with me. I got him a ticket. They would not let this boy fly because his hard copy ID was at my house in Texas. So LAX gave him a big issue. Like, look, he got a copy of his birth certificate. He got a copy of his social security card. He even got a copy that he kept in his wallet from when he go and get his ID. They gave you that temporary one. No, we need the hard copy. I mean, just evil. So I said, look, go back down to Fresno where we're from. I'll book you a ticket from there. Catch your Amtrak, go back. I'll book you a ticket from there. Maybe by you being born in Fresno, they need to look you up and like haul records or whatever the case may be. Maybe they might not even trip on you. LAX is a big airport and it's an international airport. So They take an Amtrak back because cars, of course, is wrecked, it's total. And he reaches out and say, "Look, I need something for pain because I can't sleep. I can't lay on my back. My back is busted open. I can't lay on my stomach because my kneecap is hurting. I need something for pain." And they gave my baby fentanyl, full fentanyl. The girl was taking it herself, had an injury where I guess she got addicted to pain pills or something. And she was abusing them, so they stopped prescribing them to her, which caused her to get her from off the street. And she didn't even give my kid a whole pill. This how powerful this stuff is. It was like a bite of the pill. So I got pharma and borders. You bring it down to boil it down all together. Still the same system, the pharmaceutical system. How could this happen to my children? And how could they be responsible? And then I just gotta live with this for the rest of my life. That these people did this to my children. I don't get to take nobody to court. I don't get to see nobody held responsible. It's just, yeah, that's what we did, and that's what we did, and you gotta go on with your life, and that's gonna be the end of it. So that's why I'm in pain, y'all. That's why I'm in pain. There's no justice. Y'all just took my kids from me, and I can never get them back. I can never see them in this life. I gotta live with that every single day. And today, just remembering that they have a 9-year-old little brother who wants a dog because he don't have brothers anymore. Someone was trying to bully him on the football field and the boy just broke down. He was like, if my brothers were here, I know this would happen. And Redeem is a gentle giant. You can hit him, he not gonna hit you back. He does not like inflicting harm on anybody. He's a really sweet kid. And he's always concerned about the needs of others. If you look at the photo that I posted today when I was laying on my son's casket, you look at Redeem's face. Redeem is not crying. Redeem didn't cry until after we made it back home. He said, Mama, I promise you I'm not going to cry. I'm going to be strong, and I didn't even ask him to. I told him, no, I don't even want you at the funeral. You can see the position of Redeem. I need to bring the photo up. When my first baby passed away, he was the same way. Same way. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here after I share this photo. Because I'm feeling real nice and sleepy now. And I done technically gave myself a headache and need to go lay down. But if I'm going to be a coach, if I'm going to be a consultant, if I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to be a transparent one, that's for sure. When you see me again, I'll be bold and courageous. This too shall pass. But it's better that you see what people have to endure. That way you understand how they got where they're at or how they going to get where they're going. And that should in turn encourage you. Okay. Let me show y'all this. This is my little man. Thank you, Rainbow News Boys. I appreciate you. This has always been this kid's position. And I tell you that this kid is a gift from God. This is my 15-year-old. Before he passed away. This is my 21-year-old. They were best friends. Now he have to walk around and wear his siblings on his shirt. It's just unbelievable. This photo right here. Look at that baby face. When I tell you that, I love this kid so much. I love all my kids. But I am very grateful for this kid. This has always been his position. And he did not cry. He just held me. Little 7-year-old boy. And he didn't have to cry. He didn't have to say a word. He just felt his presence. And it was very peaceful. That's what he brought to my chaos. Everybody was shocked that that baby did not cry. But I appreciate you guys. I love y'all. I thank y'all for listening. If y'all pray and can pray, you get a prayer through, pray for me and my family, my whole entire family. Not just me. I have 9 children minus the 2 that's no longer with us. I have 5 grandchildren. I have to ask God to give me strength because should any one of my grandchildren or my children ever grow up and the day comes when they be like, who's that on that picture? Who's that on that blanket? It's going to, that's going to cut deep. Because I don't ever want my kids to forget, all my grandkids to forget who their brothers were, who their uncles were. I know my daughters, and they remember him now. They never got to meet the other. So keep us in prayer, okay? I surely thank you guys for listening. Sometimes when I talk to people, they think I'm crazy, but they could not go through what I went through and be normal and be in their right mind. Because had it not been for God, I probably wouldn't be in mine. It ain't no probably. I know for sure. I'm dealing with this pain without no medication, without no alcohol, without no, something to make you feel good. This is real, raw, and uncut. Straight up. Straight up. All right, you guys. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. Pray for me as I pray for you. Because I will be praying for you. I don't care what's going on. I pray for us. I pray for our country. I pray for our officials. I pray for us. And I love y'all and I thank y'all for listening. Good night and God bless.